What's up, guys? I'm gonna brobeatz. I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make some dark criminal trap beats. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the video. All right, so first up we have a little bell to start, and then we are 127 BPM. Just kind of well, I wouldn't say it's regular because I haven't used it in a while, but usually for stuff like this I use 127. So that's the BPM. So let's go in here, and typically if you want your 808 to sound good, you can go from E. You can start around this range here. As far as the scale to use, so we could use a C minor for this, okay? And I think I'm gonna keep these notes. I'm gonna shift D, and then I'm gonna change this to 1/3, just so we get a nice different rhythm. And let me shrink this down so you can see where I'm placing them. And I'm gonna just be super generic. We're just going to pull them like this, and if you highlight it and you press Control B, you can copy it all the way over like so. And I'm gonna take these, Control B, and then just put these just anywhere, right? And then I'll probably just copy this part over like so. Okay, I'm gonna pull this up because I want to add effects to this, because I really don't like super dry melodies like this. Right, you always want to process it. So we're gonna pull up an octave so that it won't be too low and clash with our 808. So I'm copying this over, and we're just gonna go down 5. You can go up 7 and then pull it down an octave, so you can go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and pull it down, or you could just go down 5 1 2 3 4 5 and vice versa. All right, so let's see what this sounds like. Okay, I like that. So let's go ahead and move on to our next instrument. All right, so now we have this little sound, bloodshot. It's kind of like an ambient piano or bell sound. So one thing to keep in mind is every sound that you add should complement your main melody. You don't want to make a new melody, because when you add effects, reverse, halftime, what'll happen is it'll start to clash and it won't sound good. So everything should follow this melody to some degree. So for example, we can take our 5th here. So let's copy this. Since it's like an ambient sound, we could just use this as a pad to follow the same melody here. And let's pull this back, and I'll probably change this back to 1/2 beat. And I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna turn this down a bit. Okay, I think that's good. And then same thing, 1 2 3 4 5. It all comes full circle. All right, so I think that's good. Simple is better in this case when you're making like stuff like this. So let's go ahead and add our 3rd sound here. Now for our 3rd element, we have this little lo-fi key. All right, so again, keep it very simple. It should just add to it. So you just want very simple melodies to make up one big melody. So let's go in here, and I'm gonna just try to figure, and we're just gonna use the same notes. Like you could literally use the same notes that are in here. You don't have to deviate at all. And I'm gonna actually probably just do something like this. So I don't want it to be too melodic. I want it to keep that darkness. So I'm gonna see what this. And keep in mind, we're going to be adding effects on this too. So it's going to sound super upfront and in your face right now, but once we add effects, it should all sound pretty good. And I'm really giving y'all a formula here, so you can like make these on you can make these beats in like 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes if you have a template. Okay, I think that sounds good. So lastly, I'm gonna add our other sound from Contact. So next up we have Contact, and I just wanted to choose a choir don't really use them that often, so I thought it would be cool to add one in. Now you can use any type of vocal, you can use a ethnic instrument, a violin, anything else that you want to add as like your extra element, but I choose like these little staccatos. So this is pretty simple. Same thing, you can just follow same patterns we have. Now I'm gonna use the 5th for this, and then pretty much just copy it 3 times. And I think what I'm gonna do is pull this. Well, first I'm gonna copy this over, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll pull this down an octave. Let's turn this down a bit. And I'm just trying to level the velocity so that it meshes well. So I think that's good. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and throw our little chain on, which we made in the last few videos, which is, y'all should know it by now. So I'm gonna go ahead and just explain that, and then hopefully we won't have to render. So when you're using like a plugin like this, make sure your sample start time is at 0. Well, let's see, 0 milliseconds if you look in the top left hand corner, because usually it's at like 200, and you see how it's delayed. You want to change that, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, let's go ahead and add these effects. Okay, now we're going to be going over the effects real quick. So y'all already know this effect chain, I've already shown it plenty of times. So it's pretty basic stuff. So here we have all the analog sounds in one little channel, and then one in for the choir. So I just separated them left and right for the panning, just kind of level it a bit just so they're kind of even. And then I separated the analog sounds, okay, about 25% separated, and I put the choir more in mono. Just because it's a vocal, I can kind of get away with it because it doesn't have that many low frequencies. So for this in order, we have our halftime, of course, reverse. Now, since we have the reverse on there as well, we will need to bounce it out and chop it so that it's on beat. And then if you're finding that these are not, like it's not giving you the effect or sound that you want, make sure you have an EQ like this. It doesn't need to look exactly like this, but you want to really contain the frequencies with an EQ like this, and that'll hopefully give you the sound that you want. Then afterwards, which is, you don't need this, but it does help give it bounce. So like a pump effect. So you see like around here, and this is at 1 bar. As you can see, this at 1 bar, and around the middle, you want it to kind of pump up. Okay, it doesn't need to look like mine, but something like that. Okay, and then we'll play it. You see, that's a huge difference, okay. And then with our choir, I'll mute this, and you can see the EQs here are just boosting frequencies I like, and just taking out some of the lows. We have supermassive custom preset here. Now this is at 100% mix, so it will be delayed, but I like the way it sounded. Here it is. All right, so what I'm gonna do is bounce these out into waves and put them on beat, and I'll show you it after, but I don't think it's really important to show the process of rendering it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we can start the 808. Now, before we start the 808, I just want to show you how you can do this if you don't know how. So pretty much I just recorded this, so you can press these buttons here to arm it, and then you can press this button up here, and then you can just play it in the playlist with the pattern, and it'll record it all the way through. So what we want here is to take off, if you see these silences, you want to take those away and pull them back like so, and then you can just cut it off at the end, and it should repeat pretty well. Oops. And I'm gonna turn this down so it's more low-key. Okay, I like that. So let's go ahead and do this 808 real quick, and we can mute these. Now, 808 is pretty simple. We can literally just take this 5th, okay, and do this and literally just throw our beat in there. So we could do like a generic pattern for something like this. Very simple stuff. So now we're gonna go ahead and finish this off and throw in our hi-hats and our drums. Now we're gonna go ahead and throw in our drums, and this is pretty simple, right? Pretty simple stuff. So like our rim, you just throw this in. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the hi-hats first. I'm gonna right click. I really want that to punch through to give it like that hard-hitting effect. And then for our hi-hats, and I might fast forward through a little bit of this if it takes too long, but pretty much we can just, oh no, let's not. There we go. I'm gonna try to keep this in the video, but if it takes too long, then I'll just have to. And we could chop this like so, and if we want to, we can add some thirds at the bottom. And we could pan it, maybe like pan these like so. Then make sure you reset the pan so it doesn't pan the rest of your stuff. I'm gonna copy this, chop that one, and I think that's good. And I'm gonna move these over. I think that'll sound better. Okay, I think that's great. So let's right click, and then we can just fill in the rest, and then the beat's pretty much done. And it's kind of getting hectic. I'm gonna pull this out. I guess we can. Okay, I like that. I like that. And then for the rest of these, pretty simple. I'm just gonna throw in like the basic stuff. And then we can just make these a little lower since it's not the main one, and it'll just repeat. And that is pretty much the beat. It doesn't need to be overly complicated. Put this at 64. Let me see, let's listen to the beat itself. And that could be a little bit higher. Okay, so now let's listen to it with the melody. This right here. And that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.